Yo guys, what is up? So this video I thought would be a little different. So what I'm gonna do basically, well, first I kind of want to show you. So this egg, for all of you that's asking for part 3, because I see a lot in my Discord and a lot in the comments. If you go to the script, well, if I go to the script, you can see that it is back to part 1 basically. So pretty much in part 3 I'm going to redo part 2 because there's also some problems in part 2 that I want to fix, and I also want to make part 3 better, and I want to work out all the kinks to it. So it might take a while to actually get to part 3. So that's just for all of you asking. I'm not exactly sure when it's gonna come, but it will come. And just for all of you wondering, I have not made a pet system before. This is me kind of making a pet system with my knowledge. And yes, down the road, I will become better, and I will probably think that these scripts are really cringy. So if anyone is an actual developer watching this or anything, they're probably cringing really hard. Well, anyways, where was I? Where I was interrupted by my bug. So part 3 will be coming out. I don't know when, but it will. And yeah, but if you are a developer watching my videos at all, you will know that I am not a very good developer. I have only been developing, as I've said in many videos before, for like not even a year. As you can see, like all my videos of scripting are pretty much just like progress of me like becoming a better scripter, if that makes any sense. And I do really want to show people like how to do stuff, so that's kind of my end goal, is to become good enough to make these videos not cringy. But at the same time, I also want you guys to see my experiences and how I started off, if that makes any sense. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. This video is about it's gonna be a kind of a weird video. It's gonna be about 5 plugins that I actually use in studio. So I don't really have an order for this, but I think what we're gonna do, I think we're just gonna go from left to right on the 5 that I already have in mind. So for the first one, it's probably gonna be the longest one, maybe, but it is this plugin right here, the custom character creator. So to use this plugin, basically it's what it says. You make custom characters and then you can create joints with them. So I'll just quickly create a little guy, I guess, and yeah, I'll be back. Alright guys, so basically once you have your guy created, we're going to go to plugins here, go to create character, and this is kind of where it gets a little confusing. So we have our guy, right? So we want to start with, so we're going to edit him, and we're going to start with the humanoid root part, which I made invisible, and it's actually this part right here. So we're just going to click that. And for the second part, we're going to go with the upper torso. So that's all we need there. We just need 1 weld on the humanoid root part. We just need humanoid root part to upper torso. Now once we have that, we can do bind upper torso to lower torso. And once we do that, we're pretty much free to just bind it freely. So now we can do upper torso to right shoulder, and right shoulder to right hand, upper torso to left shoulder, and left shoulder to left hand. And we also want the upper torso to the head. And once we're finished with the upper torso, we can bind lower torso to left leg and left leg to left foot. And we can do the same with the right. So that's basically how you create a character. So now if we click finish and just exit that, we have all our welds and our guy. So if we click run, this guy will just stand here and kind of, you know, be a guy. But if you want to actually animate him properly, what you can do is you can go back to this create a thing, edit, click guy, and then click edit, and click edit again, and you will see all your binds. So once you have this, usually I start with the feet. That's kind of the easiest, like going from the back end to the middle, and then going from top to middle, and then like it's just easier going from all directions to middle rather than trying to go from middle to, you know, out, because a lot of these overlap each other, as you can see. Like, I mean, not really here because this is just a simple little guy, but I'll show you kind of how to do the first couple, and then I'll just skip because I don't want this video being too long. But so if we take this, as you can see, we have our rotation and our steps. So this is kind of the way that the joint's gonna go. So basically we want it facing up. So, well, first of all, let's rotate it like that, so it's facing the proper way. And now let's, oh, wrong way. Which one is it? Is it the blue one? There we go. For some reason it's the blue one. Get the blue one and rotate it like that. And once you have that, basically what we're going to do is we're going to change the mode from rotation to movement. And if I could get the right one, we're gonna move it all the way down to here. Now you can actually change your steps from full to 1/5 to 1/10 to free, but I usually just stick to 1/5 to full. So yeah, now to get this one, now this one is a little bit more confusing. So we'll actually move it first. I think it's better to move it, so let's just, yeah, let's move it. So for this one we actually need to move it in fifths. So let's just do this. What's the closest we can get it? Actually, maybe I need to move it in tenths. Yeah, I need to move it in tenths. There we go. So now we have it there. Now let's go back to full. And see our mode. Let's go see what our joints is looking like. So it's facing that way, but we want it, again, we want it facing this way, and we want it facing up. So you pretty much want it facing, like, you want the joints facing the way that they're kind of like supposed to. I don't know how to explain this really. Just like imagine a joint, I guess. Like, I'm not too sure how to explain it exactly, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish the rest for these guys, and then I'll show you kind of how the end product, but yeah, I'll be back. Okay guys, so this is kind of what my finished product looks like. So this is kind of what the joints would look like. So if we go to K, this is what each joint I have looking like. Just kind of like this, just facing like that. I don't think this joint really matters. This is the humanoid root part joint, so yeah, not gonna matter about that. Or is this one the, you know what, we'll actually change this just in case guys, because I don't know exactly which one is the humanoid root part one and which one isn't. So just in case, we're gonna have it like that. So this is what I mean by you want to have them facing the way that you want them to be facing. I usually just have them facing forwards, and then, you know, I didn't change this one actually. Okay, that's a good one. So I think for this one, it would be like, like this. Hey, which one is it? Hey, no. And then like that or something. So yeah, these are pretty much all our joints, what they're looking like. And now you can actually finish him. You can get rid of that. Now we can go to humanoid root part. If we anchor him, what we can do, guys, is if we open up the animation editor, select a rig to animate, create. Okay, don't worry about that. We can actually animate him properly, and it moves with the joints, as you can see. So yeah, just pretty much just set up your joints properly. Oops, will not help. No, I meant to click OK. So yeah, just set up your all your joints properly, and you can make a nice little character. And as you can see, it moves with it moves how it's supposed to move. So as you can see, you can create your own animations and your own characters pretty easily with this plugin. So yeah, that's pretty much how you would do that. So if we click, there's this little weird tab. Okay, but we're done with that. So that is the first plugin, guys. Get out of here, context help. So that's how you create a guy. Now for the second plugin, it's one I don't use often, and one I actually don't really recommend to any builders unless you know how to use it. And I'm not a builder, guys. I'll say that right now. I'm not a builder at all. I'm barely even a scripter. So if we go to part here and rotate it, and let's just make some random object and rotate it again. You can see we now have a gap here. So if we go to plugins and go to gap fill, what we can do is we can kind of, I usually just select best guess, and yeah, it kind of will fill the gap, as you can see. So you just kind of select what you want filled, and it'll make a wedge based on, you know, well, it might make a couple wedges based on how you want it filled. I'm not sure what will happen. Yeah, nothing like that. Well, what if we do this? Some random stuff happens. So this plugin can be pretty useful if you want to create, you know, just random gappy stuff, but it can also be kind of weird. So you really have to know how to use this one, guys. I don't really exactly know how to use this one, but I did kind of find it, and it is pretty useful if, you know, you're just having trouble with a random gap or something. You just need a quick gap filled. But yeah, you can also negate a part. Oh, so it's, okay, I see. So if I did this, nice. Okay, so that's what negate does. And if I go back to normal and do this, okay. Okay, I'm seeing kind of how to use this a little bit more. But yeah, if you want to kind of just, you know, mess around with this plugin, it's pretty cool. Now on to the next plugin, guys. So this plugin is really useful. Really, really, really useful, actually. So if we go to starter GUI, the starter GUI and insert a screen GUI, and we actually insert a frame. Doesn't matter what size it is. Let's just have it like this for now. And we go to plugins. If we click roundify and then click the frame, we can choose the size of like how much we want it rounded. I haven't really messed with the is border stuff yet, but basically this is how you get a round frame. So as we can see, it turned the frame into a nice round GUI. So this plugin is actually really helpful if you want to, you know, make nice custom GUIs. So I'm just gonna disable this. And the next plugin, guys, is so helpful. I use this plugin almost every single time I'm in the studio, and I use it every single time I'm working with a tool. So basically, if we just go to meshes real quick here and go to sword and just get a random sword. Let's just go with this sword, I guess. Let's actually scale it down quite a lot. Put it to the in front of this guy so we can see how big we want it. That's good enough, I guess. Now if we insert actually we can just do this. So now if we insert a tool and put this mesh part in the tool, name it handle, all we have to do, guys, is so if we did this and put it in this enemy, you can see it looks really, that's not how you hold a sword. But if we just put it back in the workspace and we go to plugins and we go to tool grip editor and then click tool, so you can see this is how he was holding the sword. It was holding the sword like this through his hand, which is what we don't want. So first we want to do is rotate it nice and upright, and now we want to just position it, you know, so he's actually holding the sword. So this is a pretty basic plugin, guys, that I highly recommend. So that's all you have to do. Now you can just do this in an autosaves and just put it back in the enemy, and you can see he's holding the sword exactly how we put it in the plugin. So there's that plugin, guys. That's a super useful plugin. And now on for the last plugin. Now I can't really, there's probably a lot to this plugin, but if we go to model and insert a part and go back to plugins and go to building tools by F3X, there's a lot in this, guys, and I'm not a builder, just saying. But the one thing that I do use this for, and it is really helpful, because I'm not exactly sure how to do it in studio. There probably is a way, but the main thing I use this for is if we click C for the rotate and then we click R, we can actually choose exactly where we want to rotate this part from. So instead of rotating it just straight from the middle like it always does, you can choose right here, and now it'll rotate from there. And now we can, you know, kind of rotate it how we want. That's the only use that I use it for, but I know there's tons more uses for this plugin that I want you guys to find out, and just tell me in the comments. Also tell me in the comments what plugin you guys use, well, and what's your favorite plugins. So these are my pretty much favorite plugins that I use, and I always want to look for new plugins that I can use to help my studio experience. But yeah, guys, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 3. I have no idea when it's gonna be, but I will try to make it. I just don't want to release a bad part, kind of like part 2 was. But yeah, whatever. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Peace out.